From what?
Every time I share something positive about China, I will always get one comment. What about Tibet? Tibet suppressed. Just free Tibet.
I'm glad you stopped by, amazing viewer. This video is for those who care so much about the freedom of Tibetans, and I am here to let you know that they could be free than you think. Maybe free than you. Like the video for recommendation, subscribe if you're new here, share your thoughts in the comment section. I'm about to share amazing videos about Xinjiang, and I don't want to read these boring comments. Kindly, I want to believe that this could be coming from ignorance, maybe being fed by the middleman media. Direct from the source. What are Tibetans going through?
Where do you read this stuff? Gross.
Okay, I need to clarify here. Tibet is free in terms of language, culture, and religion. All the signs in Tibet are bilingual. The temples in Tibet are as busy as ever, and they can even go to the mainland of China to run Tibetan religious goods stores. Many people from other ethnic groups in China believe in Tibetan religion. If you are saying that the way of life of the Tibetan people has been changed, then I'm sorry. The way of life of all of us has been changed, and it has been changed by the West. The style of the clothes I'm wearing today, the car I drive, were first invented by Westerners. The traditional costumes of my ethnic group look like this. Today's Tibetans, as well as Uyghurs and other minorities, are using mobile phones to play social media, watching Hollywood blockbusters, and eating McDonald's and drinking Coca-Cola. So in fact, the West have changed the way of life of everyone. But we have never complained that our culture has been invaded, because Chinese people know that the great integration of world cultures is the trend. The West is also being changed by Chinese culture, and we like to exchange cultures with the whole world. And there is nothing shameful about this. On the contrary, some Westerners saw that the foreign immigrants retained their way of life, which triggered large-scale anti-immigration demonstrations. Isn't this very ironic?
I'm in Chengdu today. Just went to get some juice and I walked past this shopping center. So let me show you how alive and well Tibetan culture is here in China. This is a Tibetan hotel. There's a Tibetan supplement place down there. I'm about 800 miles away from Tibet. This is a Tibetan restaurant. There's another couple restaurants down here. All of it is in Tibetan language. There's the back of the hotel.
I'm pretty sure you never talked to a real Uyghur or Tibetan before, and I don't know how you formed opinion that they were bad, right? They were treated bad. Like, I never know directly any Tibetan and Uyghur, but some of my friends do. Some of my friends grew up in Xinjiang, and they told me story, and I will know closer to the truth, to you. For one example, I was just told by my friends who grow up in Xinjiang that she's Han ethnicity, but half of her class is Uyghur. And guess what? In the national entrance exam, I used to think that Uyghur people get 10 points or 20 points. That would be like a huge bump. And she told me something that shocked me to the core. They get 120 points added to their score. But I can understand that. Affirmative action is used depends on the needs. That area, the particular my friends lived, they were just traditionally so low opportunity for that group of people, so they have so special treatment. The other example too, I directly know some of them, and you don't. And that's why I don't need to be paid by CCP to tell the truth.
I'm in Chengdu right now, which is known as Little Tibet. I'm currently in the Tibetan neighborhood. Let's just have a look around, shall we? What's that? Every single one of these shops is in Tibetan. Wow, beautiful. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how is Tibetan culture being oppressed in China? This is a Tibetan bookstore on the left. It was gated off, but at the beginning of the video, we passed a Tibetan hospital that uses traditional Tibetan medicine. This plaque is at the beginning of the neighborhood, and it has all the different ethnic minorities in China. The QR code leads you to the People's Republic of China National Ethnic Affairs Commission. This is a government entity responsible for promoting harmony and unity between all the ethnic groups in China. Now, why are there so many Tibetans in Chengdu? It's because there's only about 4 million people in Tibet, and it's pretty underdeveloped compared to the rest of China. Simply put, there's 21 million people in Chengdu, and there's a lot more job opportunities. China has been pouring money into Xizang to kind of fix this problem, build more hospitals, build more schools. But again, there's still a much larger population in Chengdu. This is the entrance to the Minorities College. It was founded in 1951, and it seeks to promote higher quality education for the ethnic minorities in China. I actually edited down the footage that I took of this neighborhood. It does go on for quite a while. There's pretty much every shop you can imagine in this area. And that's why it's called Little Tibet.
Guys, Tibet was already freed in 1959. How free? How dare of those people to judge, especially they have never ever been to there before. Don't know anything about it, haven't done any research before. Immediate default action is negative, very dismissive, just really strikes me. Well, then how about this? Free California. We urge the US government to protect the legitimate rights of California. Just free California, California independence. But you know what? You are asking the right person. I just visited Tibet last month. Before going, I read a lot of books, and even on the way, I was studying. What I saw was not outside people imagine. Tibet or Xizang is far more developed than I expected. Cities like Lhasa and Shikaz are modern, lively, and feel no difference from big cities in southern China. Now, here's part many don't know, and it's so heartbreaking. And I won't show any pictures because it's too bloody and brutal. But you can search for yourself. Well, before the 1950s, Old Tibet, which is also called Xizang, was under a feudal system where religion and politics were tightly tied together. More than 95% of people were serfs, basically slaves. They worked very hard, paid endless taxes, and were forced into labor. Most were born into slavery, passed down like property. No peasant could ever pay them off in a lifetime. And it was even darker. Ritual objects were sometimes made from human remains, drums from human skin, trumpets from leg bones. While in the Tibet Museum, I saw a statue showing a child being burned alive under a building's infrastructure. Like, as part of the ritual, a mother rushing to stop it. As a mother myself, that really strikes me and broke my heart. I cried instantly. In just 6 or 7 decades, life here has completely transformed. Since the establishment of Xizang Autonomous Region, every citizen over 18 has had the right to vote and stand for the election, and Tibet's GDP growth has ranked number 1 last year. When I was in Shikaz, I visited Tashilumbu Monastery. It is one of the most secret Buddhist sites, just like the Potala Palace. The place is open to the public, full of tourists, and I even saw many Western visitors there. We all watched the traditional Buddhist debate together. The monks argued so fiercely, but it's part of their tradition, a way to practice and shape their understanding of Buddhism. Honestly, it was pretty impressive. So that's why I really hope the people who keep saying China is suppressing Tibet could actually come here and see it with their own eyes. Anyway, I'm Kelly Tang, one video, one insight about China. Talk to you later.
One thing about Tibet that you guys need to know is, have you heard of divide and conquer? I think we've all heard of it. I think we all know what that means. That is what the US is trying to do. It's trying to break apart China into smaller pieces, divide them, because we can't stand to have another global superpower We can't stand to have any competition globally, anyone who can threaten our hegemonic domination. So what you see about free Tibet, you have to read extensive history to understand more about it, but that's pretty basic. You can kind of start to see like context for then when you look about stuff specifically coming especially from the US about how Tibet is supposed to be free. Same with Taiwan, always has been historically part of China, except for when it was colonized by Japan. The US is trying to break apart China into smaller pieces, which is where all of these are coming from.
Prior to becoming part of China, 95% of Tibetans lived in serfdom, which was essentially slavery. China invaded Tibet. China invaded Tibet. The UK invaded Tibet in 1903. I'm just begging you guys to do the basic littlest amount of research. Read a book that is not produced by the CIA or other Western powers. I bought this one in a bookstore in Thailand. It's called Tibet, No Longer Medieval. I can't possibly summarize it for you because there's so much history here. Few areas in the world were as backwards economically and culturally as old Tibet. Serfs worked in the field with primitive tools. What was left for them out of the harvest was at best barely enough for a meager supply of food and seed, and often not even that. Industry did not exist. Even matches and nails were imported. There were no modern roads. Transportation was by pack animals or on human backs. These slave owners made these serfs carry them on their backs.
Many people ask me why we Tibetans only wear one sleeve of our clothing. The reason is that the temperature difference between morning and evening in Tibet is quite significant. In the morning, we wear both sleeves to keep warm. By noon, it gets warmer, so we take off one sleeve. Yes, that's how it works. We also have a big pocket in our clothes where we can carry a lot of things like milk or even a laptop. When we work, we take off the sleeves and tie them together for convenience. You roll up your sleeves and work hard. We take off our sleeves and work hard.
I am one of the few foreigners in Tibet right now. To travel here, you need a permit and a guide at all times. So I'm walking around the capital Lhasa to see what life is like here. I'm heading away from the hotel towards the old part of the city. This chanting is Buddhist prayer, likely because I'm not far from a temple. Oh, but first... Okay, ironically, the first thing of note is this import store, so I'm gonna go see what they have. Costco nuts. Okay. This is what I eat at home in the US. Back to the street. The shops around here sell a lot of Tibetan or Buddhist items, and it's Tibetan for sure, but they're all clustered around here because it's getting to be a little bit more commercial up ahead. After a security check, I see why. This is the outside of Jokang Temple, a holy site more than 1,300 years old. There are a lot of people here, both Tibetan and tourist, circumambulating the building, which is a devotional act to gain positive merit. Some pilgrims come from really far away, prostrating every 3 steps. Then I came across another solo traveling lady who told me she comes all the way from the Tibetan regions of Qinghai a few times a year to worship. When she added me on WeChat, she sent me a picture of green Tara. After that, I followed the circumambulating crowd, which was growing larger as the sun set, and oh look, there's KFC, Pop Mart, and Pizza Hut all together. Then suddenly, a group of local photographers started talking to me.
Hey, yo, 我是西海岸的。Oh yes. No. 东海 New York.
And then more of their friends came over, and they offered me a free drone photo shoot, which I did in fact do the next day. Stay tuned if you want to see that.
我们全部都是他手下。来，开始。可以拍个合照吗？可以。
You are so nice. They told me that the people circumambulating here are both people who come from really far away, and then also just like locals who come here after work or kind of come here somewhat regularly to do some prayer. It's 9:30. I'm gonna go find something to eat. That is vegetarian food. I'm gonna go check it out.
There's no one else here, probably because it's so late. They have some books stacked here, so I'm gonna take a look. Bob McGuire. Whoops. Line. Oh. I really wonder like how they got these books, like where, like this looks so old, and where did it come from? Okay, so my food's here. It's like a vegetarian meat with some barley, oh, they're like hollow, some barley buns. I don't think I can eat all this on my own, but I'm gonna try, and then I'm gonna head back to the hotel. And that was how my first evening in Lhasa went. If you guys want to learn more about life in Lhasa, you should check out Sophia's Journey to the West. She's the only American living there and has an absolutely unique perspective on the city.
Come take a walk with me while I get a snack in Lhasa, Tibet. I've been living in China for 15 years now, and honestly, I'd never imagined I'd end up living in places like Yunnan or Tibet. But here I am, in Lhasa, not as a tourist, but literally as the only American living here. There's so much about the west of China that's either wrapped in politics or overly romanticized. That's why I want to give you a real insider's look into what daily life is actually like here. I split my time in between Lhasa and Lijiang, and I've got local family in both places, which give me a unique perspective on life here. On the surface, life might seem pretty different, but once you settle in and start living it, you realize that people are kind of the same everywhere. Still, the culture, the landscape, and the daily rhythms here are so special, and I'm excited to share that with you. So welcome! If you're curious about life in Tibet and Yunnan, drop me your questions or let me know what you'd like to see in future videos.